You got to think how long has porn been huge?
Forever.
I mean, really though, how since it's been mainstream. So let's say the 70s, with like Deep Throat.
Through the money, design of the drip. Don't got a cap, I'm as real as it get. Bet on myself and I tripled the flip. Came from the streets, I'ma stick to the script. We popping bottles like we went a trip. Rather fill up accounts than empty a clip. 10 on the ground, so I never slip. They love you, they hate you, I'm watching them switch. Switch, 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 switch. They hate you, they love you, I'm watching them switch. Switch.
Yeet. You already know what it is. For a chance. Rook's in the house. We got a super special guest today. I'm starting already because we got the Jack on deck, but we got a super special guest. She's in the, I believe, the 0 percentile of Onlyfans, Miss Kayla. You already see her little Twitter ad right there, so that's where you got to go follow her. Make sure you follow her. That's a must, trust me. But this is where we're at. So real quick, episode 32. We appreciate y'all, Spotify, Apple, Anchor, YouTube subscribers. Do your thing, the Patreon, Cash App gang. We appreciate y'all. Sign up for the Patreon because you're probably going to get some more content from Miss Kayla, so you're going to want to do that. Trust me. But we're here, so this is it. Rook?
Cheers to you, by the way, because I said this before we even went live. I need that background. All right, so especially for the lit nights, right? That'd be perfect.
That's why we're trying to tell them to get to the Cash App gang or the Patreon gang, so we can get our own little lights shit up in there. But without further ado, Miss Kayla, introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself. Tell us how you started, why you started, and we'll just get it rolling from there.
So I am Kayla, Sparky Clarky. That's what I go by. My internet alias. Honestly, I got started to make some extra money just to see, I saw some girls talking about, oh yeah, I make an extra $1,000 a month and I just post, like my sexy pictures and it's just bringing in some income, and thought, okay, well, spice up the marriage, spice up the sex life, that sort of thing. And then I got my implants done, and it just kind of took off from there. Never, ever thought that I would be in the top, less than 1%. Doing this, being this successful at it, never dreamed of that. It was never the plan, but it has turned now into a second full-time job.
Oh, yeah.
So, just rolling with it, seeing how long I can ride this wave, and taking it day by day. So
yeah, people don't think putting content is work. Like they think it's easy. Post a picture. Yeah. You got to do the hair, do the makeup. You got to do the setups. You got to get the lingerie outfits or whatever outfits you got going. You got to shoot, and you got to edit, and you got to put out. So I think it is. So make sure again you follow her on Twitter and you follow her links that we'll put in the description box so you can support her so that she does.
That's my number one thing, man. I was gonna say that to you, the editing, because this guy right here does all the editing, and every time he wants to give me any type of salute, I'm like, dude, we're kicking this off, and you're taking the editing on head on. Like that's a lot of work. Like filming it and just having fun with it. It's easy. It's like doing demolition in a house, and then you gotta do the cleanup. He does the cleanup. So yeah. Oh, you have all the fun early, and then to give people what they want, you got to do the hard work after that.
Oh yeah. So sign up to the Cash App gang and the Patreon gang, so that pass off the editing to somebody else. Oh, don't forget the merch right here. Go ahead and cop that as well. You have any merch?
Not yet. I'm working on it. working on some merch. I'm working with if I can shout out my friend, working with one of my good friends who is a well-known tattoo artist, getting together. She's drawing up some stickers for me right now, so I can start off with something small, some stickers, little sticker packs, stuff like that, some sexy stuff, some nude stuff. getting that going, and then just gonna see how that goes and take it from there. But
Right. After she checks out your episode and she knows that we're safe, make sure it's on so we can interview her as well, so we can give her some shine on here as well. So you said you started to do some extra income. Was that pre-COVID or because of COVID?
well, so I actually started. I I signed on for like 3 days, like right when COVID started, because my hours got cut back at my previous job. And then my husband was like, I don't know about all this. And so I got off of it for several months, and then I got furloughed, so I couldn't get back on it because I couldn't, have income coming in and have unemployment as well. Would have lost that benefit. So after I had my surgery, I talked to him and was like, look, I really want to do this again. I think that I can make really good money. I'd love to make six figures. I've never done that before in my life. I really kind of want to try it out, make that my goal, see what we can do. And I started back up full time in beginning of August. And it's just kind of taken off from there. So I had another job, and I was just doing it for extra income. And now I'm doing it to quit my day job and take over doing this completely full time.
We're going to throw a round of applause up here. You know what I'm saying? Post edit. That's pretty amazing. Anytime you can get your own business popping and you don't have to do the 9 to 5, because I ain't did the 9 to 5. Can't do it.
Yo, we're all about quitting the day job on this show, okay?
Yeah, I'm over, I keep telling everybody at work this, like, I'm just over working for someone. No one's ever going to care about you the way that you care about you. No one's going to value your ethic, your hard work the way that you do. So it's better to just like work for yourself, be your own boss, start your own brand, start your own thing, be passionate about something and love what you do. And I've never had that. So that's what I'm aiming for, really. And if this is the means to get me there, I'm not saying it's like the forever, like the end all to be all, because, obviously it's not going to be. But if it helps me get to that goal, then I'm going to bust my ass till I get there.
No,
Cheers to that, man. Cheers to it's a bridge for you to getting there. And cheers to the fact that that's 100% true. I love what you just said. We need to clip that and post that for people to hear, because it's just the truth. They're never going to value your time as much as it should be valued.
Right.
At the end of the day, they might say they need you, but they really just need you to take up space, fill a void that they're either too comfortable to want to fill with somebody else at the moment until they don't need you. So yeah, it's great. Put your heart into something else that you gonna value with your time.
I mean, new perspectives. After I worked for a company for 7 years and was told all kinds of stuff. You have potential to be a GM. You have potential to take over when I retire. You're one of the hardest working employees I've ever had. Your work ethic is amazing. I wish I could, clone you. I heard things like this for 7 years, and then I was furloughed and never got a phone call, never got a text message, email, nothing. So, it really puts things into perspective about, you think people care about you and you have this connection with people even after all that time. And you're just another body that sits at a desk, and you're replaceable. So you make yourself irreplaceable to yourself. And that's just what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, they're always gonna think you're replaceable. Not even to harp on the shit that Rook's heard all my life, but fucking TV and film, same shit. I used to have locks at the time, and they used to be like, "Hey, Chance, you do your shit. Like, can you train these new guys?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I got you." So I would train them. I would put them on games so they knew what they were supposed to be doing, and then they would end up getting the full staff gig on either Law and Order or whatever it was. And then I'd be the daytime player. Like, I'd come in when it was raining or snowy outside. But I just trained your whole new staff that you said that I was the man and that you wanted them to learn from me from. So yeah, 9 to 5s can't do it. Can't do it. But fantastic. So real quick, let's tell everybody what y'all sipping on. I got the Jack.
Eagle Rare.
What is it?
Eagle Rare bourbon.
Okay, that's strong.
Straight bourbon.
I have bourbon's official cousin. All right.
Oh, okay. Some
I got
scotch.
Yeah, I got Bourbon's official cousin because
Never had that.
holiday season was good to me.
So real quick, so when they hit the Twitter and they see the links and all that good stuff, or the description box and check it out, what kind of stuff can they get? So that I guess they can get the preview or whatever.
So I recently actually kind of reformatted my structure and how I run my page. I kind of got called out by a fan, who was like, "Hey, I'm not going to resub again, and this is why." And I took his advice, and I was like, "All right, I hear you." And so now I do post full nude content straight to my wall. The subscription price covers all of that, full everything. I do crowdfund videos, so I do my full length videos are obviously extra. Boy girl content. My husband does film content with me. And I do crowdfund some of those videos. So once I reach like my goal that I have for a video, whatever, then I release that video to my wall as well. So there are some full length videos as well that come in that low subscription price. Honestly, it's pretty good value.
So what is crowdfunding mean? Like once you hit like a certain goal?
Yeah, like a campaign. So like a campaign goal. So if I can say, hey, I will post this video to my wall if enough people, like right now I have 5,000 fans. So if any of those 5,000 people tip me, if I set it at, $250 was one of them. Once it reaches that, then I'll go ahead and post it straight to my wall instead of sending it out as a pay-per-view message, which is basically like you have to unlock it in your DMs.
Okay.
So makes keeping it fun.
What's your question, Rook?
So like
Being ready.
payment structure, like how do we go about that? Like how? Because I've heard some girls make like 10 grand a month, which is insane to me. I spent a lot of time in strip clubs before strip clubs were no longer relevant because of Instagram, and then later Onlyfans
Snapchat
really took it and ran.
I mean, I love going to strip clubs personally. There's just like a vibe, and then like the music and the crowd, and I don't know. I love going. The girls are always like super sweet to me. They'd always try to get me to work there, but the payment structure is OnlyFans does take 20%. So they take 20% of your money. Every pretty much website that hosts is going to take a percentage. 20% is probably on the lower end of some of them. I cammed back in the day a long time ago.
Cam soda?
I did my free cams, which is actually the guy that owned my free cams actually bought OnlyFans, so it's the same company, I think now.
No, my free cams is the wave. I've seen a lot of good content on there.
Yeah, that was the shit back in the day. People still use it. I know now Chatterbait is like the big one.
Yeah.
Something about like lunch money. I don't know. There's a couple. I just don't have the time to cam or do lives anymore. I get asked all the time, and I just, between full-time job and then doing everything else, it's hard. But the pay structure is, you said 10 grand a month. So last month was actually my best month, and I I grossed over $11,000 on OnlyFans alone. So I'm top 0.99. To be in the top 0.01%, you're averaging about $172,000, $180,000 a month to be in the top 0.01%.
I'm gonna go and get some more applause in the post.
We'll run out of applause.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was a female, I would definitely have an OnlyFans. I have OnlyFans, fucking Snapchat Premium, be a stripper. Like dudes, like if I was to open an OnlyFans, unless you're famous or I don't know, a horse or like super ripped, dude, dude's not getting that money like that. It's just not happening.
I mean, there's some guys that on Twitter that I follow or that I'm in groups with, and I mean they're up there pretty close to me in what they're doing and what they're making. There are some guys that do it, and it's really all about promoting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the big thing is that people don't realize, and I can't tell you how many guys attack me and people downplay, like you said earlier, how get a real job. Oh, I wish I could just take pictures of my tits and, make all this money. I work. If I'm awake, I'm working.
Yeah.
I get 6 hours of sleep at night, basically now, and that's it. Other than that, like I'm on my phone. I'm either on Twitter or I'm on Instagram or I'm on Reddit or something promoting myself, Facebook, whatever it is. TikTok is so time consuming to sit there and edit all those videos and get your cues down. And I mean, like I can spend hours sitting there trying to get a video perfect, and then
Trust me, I know.
they've taken my account twice. So I'm rebuild for the third time.
Yeah, because my TikTok only got 1,616 followers, but
I'm
the
back down to 200. I was at over 10,000 at one point.
Go ahead. Tell me TikTok because it'll blow up real quick again.
I hope so. I'm waiting on that moment.
What's your TikTok?
It is. Oh my God, what is it right now? I think it's Sparky Clarky 18, or it's. They made me change my name yesterday. I don't know why. It's some new. There's no telling, but.
Sorry, when we figure it out, we'll put it in the description box for you guys.
And they're flagging everything because I follow a lot of ladies, and everything is flagged. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he knows. Everything's flagged, and that's crazy. Because like you said, and I want to piggyback that. Not everybody can do what you're doing, and what the other ladies are doing, and some of the men you talk about. Promoting is huge. You guys are now artists for yourself. There's an artist right there.
Yeah.
An artist now. He had to promote albums.
Yeah.
His urban and stuff like that.
You are your own brand. So the way you represent yourself and the way that you present yourself and how much time you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
Absolutely.
My dog is going crazy to get outside.
The Great Gatsby.
Yo, he's only been bugging today. On 2 episodes today. Now he wants to bug. But yeah, people don't understand. Like, what did I write? I wrote it on. I think Facebook, Twitter. I mean, I posted it everywhere though. But the same thing about the brands. I was like, some of y'all don't take your business serious. It's about collaborating, networking, supporting each other, not thinking your dick is the biggest and you're the only bag. Networking, collaborating, supporting each other is cross promotion, and it actually brings you more traffic and supporters.
Absolutely. And it's shitty because, like, I can tell you from experience, you want to trust people. You want to look at other females, especially now. Like, we're on this whole, like, female empowerment. We're owning our sexuality. We're claiming it. We're being fucking, boss bitches, whatever. So you want to trust these other girls, but I can't tell you how many times I've been screwed over by these other creators of, I'm going to do my part, and then you don't follow through and do your part. And you use me in my hard work, and that really sucks. And there are people that do that, and it's a shame because you get to the point where then you're like, I don't want to trust anybody. And I wish more people would get on board with, let's be a community, let's be a team, like, let's help each other.
Been dealing with that for a long time. Nobody wants to help until you already made it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What you mean, like, you'll tell them, like, you'll do the retweet for retweet stuff, or...
Right. So for us, like, I'm in, obviously, like, about Twitter, probably the most part. Like, yeah, the retweet groups are, like, the rounds groups. But even, like, so on OnlyFans, the big thing is, like, a share for share, where you see the other, like, a model sharing another model on her page, or sending out a mass DM to all the fans about the other model, or even like a Snap Premium, sharing each other on Snapchat and, hey, go check out this chick. Can't tell you how many times I've been burnt. I did my part, other chick didn't do her part, And I'm like, well, I just gave you access to, almost 6,000 people, and I got nothing.
And then if you don't do it, you're stuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah, so it's hard, but I mean, I pay for promo. Ain't no shame. Like, I pay for bigger accounts to promote me, and I think it's just really kind of part of it. Goes along with.
You gotta grind. You gotta grind how you grow. There's rules on how to grind. What was the question I was gonna ask? That's when that jack hits you. You kind of forget what you were about to ask. I totally forgot. We'll hit it up real quick.
All right, well, I got a question. I have a few actually, but so you spread out your content. You're not a one trick pony with this. So I'm thinking you do some fantasy stuff, like you'll have the Funko Pops going one episode or one video clip, right? Do some cosplay.
So I do some dress up stuff. I most of that is with my customs. Like I have custom requests from people. Hey, will you do this for me? A lot of fetish requests. I keep it pretty vanilla for the most part. On as far as what is mass put out there, and then let people come in and say, hey, I want this or I want that, and I create it for them. But yeah, I mean, I do a little bit of cosplay. I'm a huge nerd.
Well, we're gonna get into that.
No, I mean, cosplay is so expensive, so it's tough. I can't even tell you how much money in lingerie in the past 6 months. Lingerie, shoes, wigs, so getting into pulling the cosplay in, I try to throw some stuff together. So to me, like, I don't know if you guys know, like, the whole term, like, Disney bounding, where it's almost like I'm not doing it per se, but I'm doing, like, a nod to this character.
Mm-hmm.
I call what I do more of, like, a bound, not necessarily, like, exact cosplay. So I will do, like, I think I sent Chance, like, a picture of, like, a Sith, but for my content, I put, like, a sexy spin on it. So I'm in, like, a bustier, with some fishnets and my lightsaber, or, things like that. So I try to just do, like, here's a nod to this thing. It's not so on the nose, but it's still fun, and I'm still showing my personality, and I'm still showing what I'm into.
And if you're a fan of what you're not into, like, people should know exactly what it is that you're not into. So yeah. How often is your content, dictated by the fans?
I mean, I get requests every day for custom stuff. Hey, will you do this for me? I want these pictures. I want this video. Whatever. Pretty much every day, I get requests. One weekend, a couple weekends ago, I was so stressed out. I had 10 custom videos that I had to film in 2 days. And that's a lot to film, 10 videos and then edit and then upload and then send. And then also have to film, your regular content and take regular pictures. And I think that was the weekend I also had a photo shoot. So it's, it gets to be really overwhelming and really stressful at times.
If you're your own business, but you have customers, so you gotta fulfill the orders, and it's not like a restaurant where, like, yo, you take that, you take that, you take that. You got to do the whole shit, the whole shebang.
It's all me, and a lot of the times it also requires my husband. So then you throw 2 people into the mix. You also have to, I have to coach him. I have to tell him what's going on. I have to give him cues. We have to try to communicate with each other and still make it work, and work seamlessly together.
And then I gather he has a full time as well, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And you got to get the energy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then when you're kind of being told, it's a whole different scenario, as in just some random spontaneous shit. But yeah, she sent me the saber joint. So you go to Ultra Sabers, even though we're not sponsored by them, but go to the Ultra Sabers, son. I made my own drone. It was a pink saber for the dark side. The copy, I think it's like $80. But that's gonna be,
I
Oh,
gotta make one that look like Prince.
yeah,
it's not bad. Oh, you gonna get a Mace Windu purple?
Yup. Thank you.
See?
He knows.
Yeah, we gotta transition that real quick. So let me ask a couple quick questions to wrap that part up so we get to the geek shit. What are some of the misconceptions of OnlyFans?
I mean, the biggest one is that it's easy. That it's easy work. That we're just banking, rolling in money. I mean, it took me months, and like I said, I never expected ever, and I'm like looking at it going, I don't know how I can top this. It's a lot of stress you put on yourself at that point because they do rank us. I am very competitive, so it gets very in your head about, oh my god, I got to do better, I got to make this, I got to do that. Setting goals becomes a super stressful task to hit this goal. But I think the main misconception is that it's easy. I've gotten a couple of girls into it, and within a couple of weeks they've quit, and they're like, girl, I don't know how you do this. This is a full-time job. And I'm like, I told you it was.
They ain't want to work.
Lazy.
100% full-time job.
Yeah.
Taxable?
What was that?
Is this taxable?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a 1099.
Man, Uncle Sam, why don't you just chill out?
You already know.
Right? To let people keep their money.
So it is taxable. The good thing is that when you're a 1099, you
Right
can
off.
itemize your deductions.
Like lingerie, shit like that.
Yeah, everything. I mean, anything that goes into the way that I look, I am writing off. The key is to have a good accountant.
That's it.
Again, I mean, you have to invest in yourself. And that's what the whole thing is. And that's what I tell these girls that ask for my advice, because everyone's like, oh my god, will you help me? Give me advice. How do you do it? You are a business. You have to invest in yourself. You have to put the time in. You have to put the work in. You have to put the money in. You got to spend money to make money, 100%. It's worth it to pay for the accountant. It's worth it to pay for the quality camera or phone or light setup. Editing software, the high-end lingerie. What sets other people apart is those little details versus, taking dark pictures that are blurry, and it's
even if you're an ex-rapper or whatever, you pay for locations.
Yeah.
Locations.
Photography. I mean, having professional pictures done that you can send out everywhere, which is what I did, and little video snippets and stuff like that. I mean, it's all about investing in yourself.
You have to promote.
Have you still found it yourself to be capable of having fun while working?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I have my top fans, obviously, and actually the website tells them every month, hey, by the way, you made it in the top 1%, or which is the top fan, or the top 5%. So they know, and the guys get really competitive about that. It's this really strange thing. Some of them are very much like, I want to be your number one. And I'm like, okay, we'll just, keep hitting that tip button. I'm good with this.
Definitely.
And oh my god, now I'm getting tipsy.
You, right? Yeah, you're talking about the guys, top fans.
Yeah. So I mean, I still enjoy it. There's people that I connect with, that I have a connection with. I enjoy talking to them. Obviously, making the content to a certain extent is going to be fun. I mean, getting off is always enjoyable. Some of the stuff that I do is a little out of my realm of things that I would consider,
So sometimes it is just work.
my thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. There's definitely some kinks and some stuff that I've done where I'm like, just get through it. Just get through it.
The question: do you think some of the numbers lie? Like, I don't hate on anybody that grinds and stuff, But I've seen some ladies on Twitter, and they'll say the same thing, like they're in a certain top percentile.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, I'm like, I don't know how, because I've seen some other people.
Yeah.
You think the numbers lie, or you think they're accurate?
So I will tell you from experience of my friends that I know personally, they will use their best percentage that they ever hit, and they will roll with that. They won't update it.
Okay.
So they'll leave it at, like 2 months ago, I was in the top 0.5%, but I'm never going to change it. Even if I drop, because it's really hard to maintain. I mean, top 5%, you're making $30,000 in a month, roughly.
Because everyone pretty much seems like they're doing it. Because I'll open my Twitter at like 5:30 in the morning, like when it's time to take my girls, get them ready for school, and I open my Twitter, and it's like full blast nudity. And I'm like, damn, already? It's only like 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, all the time, man. Full on. I mean,
behind me when I open my Twitter.
You said what?
I hope no one's behind me or over my shoulder when I open my Twitter every time. Because there's the ones that I follow, and then there's the ones that's like just being popped up to be promoted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I feel like that every time I open my phone at all. Like, regardless of what it is, anytime I open my phone, I'm like, oh God, just never know.
All right, so before we segue, is there an end game? Like, is there a time frame when you think, all right, I'm done doing this, it's the next phase, or you don't know yet?
I don't really have a time frame, more so that I have a goal in mind. So, I mean, however long it takes me to hit that goal. I mean, ultimately, I have in my head, I want to pay off my debt. I want to pay off my car.
Mm.
I want to, again, my friend that's just trying to get me to get into merch. She is a tattoo artist, and she wants me to get into permanent makeup tattooing, and I would love to do that. So the end goal for me is to, branch. Hey, I can still do this. Maybe this can be residual income, and I can kind of automate it, but then also do something that I love, like, permanent makeup, or do reselling, because I love finding deals and then reselling it, making a profit off of it. That sort of thing. I have an eye for vintage clothing, vintage furniture, stuff like that.
Girl boss.
Yeah,
Netflix.
You kind of led me into my question, but you answered it already in a way, because, the strip club was the wave, and then, social media hit and things got digital, and it seems like so many people getting paid off of it. So you're at the pinnacle of this wave. Can you see where this transitions and where this is going to go next, or are you keeping your eyes open to that?
I mean, I think this is going to ride out, because, I mean, you got to think how long has porn been huge?
Forever.
I mean, really though, since it's been mainstream. So let's say the 70s, with like Deep Throat, Debbie Does Dallas. It was very much mainstreamed, and then started to go. People started to admit, yeah, I watched this stuff. It wasn't as taboo. And I think as long as, I mean, the benefit to OnlyFans is that you get to interact with these people who you like are super attracted to, who can help you get off, and you can ask them, hey, I want you to make this for me. I want you to say my name while you do this thing. And that's the appeal to it. I don't know that that'll ever go away. The only thing that I could see advancing, and my husband and I actually have this talk, is for these software, these companies, the websites to integrate, what is it? The like the 3D, like the
Porn already came in VR now. So.
Yeah, the VR, like VR porn. So where you can actually like go live with the person, and then like VR together, and have like your avatars, kind of like what's that?
Man. And Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone. He's like, what are we doing?
Well, I'm thinking of what is? Oh my gosh, I'm so brain dead.
Oh, I know what you're thinking of on Netflix.
The movie where oh, that one too. But I'm thinking of the movie where you just fully go into the video game,
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One, yeah, and you just live that life.
We're geeking.
I feel like that's the progression of where our society is going, kind of.
Yeah.
Where we just completely disconnect from reality and just plug into this virtual land and just live there, and we use filters or avatars or however we want to make ourselves look, and we just interact with people that way.
Well, that's a good segue. So,
last question. $20 a month, girls. $4.99 a month, girls.
Mm-hmm.
Who makes more, and what's the difference?
So, I mean, you can set your own prices however you want. Honestly, it's about the girls that go lower subscription price, typically, and this isn't always, typically do, the pay-per-view videos like I do. You have to buy the full-length videos in order to see them. They're not posted on the wall. Usually the higher subscription prices, it's all inclusive, but that's not always the case because every model's different. I would say that the lower subscription price girls are banking off of volume instead of, obviously, price, and the higher subs are banking off of their pricing, and they don't care because you do the math and it's like, well, 10 sub versus 100, who gets the money at the end of the day? Does it work out to be the same amount? So, I mean, it's really all up to the models and what they feel comfortable with. And I've never changed my price, even though I changed my whole platform and how I do everything in post. And it's worked out okay for me. And
all right, so let's segue because we've been here a minute. So we know you're geeked out. Sent you the clip of what me and Rook talked about with Star Wars, and how
yes,
I personally think the new joints sucked.
yeah.
I like the old school ones, obviously, the classics, and then I do like Anakin. They kind of showed the whole growth and why he became who he became. I thought that was dope. But these new ones, I had I don't know, no love for. Like I just thought they were poorly written. Sorry to the writers, and I didn't get why certain people became certain people. So
the main thing that I wanted to say, because I watched your clip this morning when I was getting ready for work, or listened to it, whatever. John Boyega, who plays Finn, who I love, he's adorable. He's like, I think he's going to be a great actor if he can land great roles. I think he has so much potential. He made a speech, around, during the whole Black Lives Matter thing that was super fucking touching, and mad respect for him. And you guys said something about they downplayed his character in the movies. I agree with that. However, there is a series on Disney, which is it's an animated series called like The Resistance, where they then take Rey and Finn and all the characters from the new movies and they animate them. And Finn actually does start training with Rey to become a Jedi. And I think that... Do what?
Is this going to take place after the last events of episode 9?
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys remember in the last movie, Lando talking to the girl from the one planet where they were on the horses and she kind of like saved the day at the end. I don't remember her name, to be honest. And he's like, so where are you from? And she's like, honestly, I don't know. And he was like, how about we find out? I think there's going to be a whole other, movie, series, whatever, storyline about finding out where these kids came from that they took and then trained to become stormtroopers. So I think that they are going to go into that. And I do think that Finn is going to be a bigger character, and they are going to explore the fact that he is force sensitive and start training him with Rey to become a Jedi.
So how'd you feel about Rey's, like, who she ended up being? Because I was disappointed.
I was happy with that.
What?
I was fine with that. I mean, I didn't. So, I mean, Palpatine is like the end all to be all of Sith. I mean, period. He just is. Like, he killed Plagueis, Darth Plagueis, who was the one who learned how to be immortal and learned all this stuff. And he's the one that killed him because he admits that to Anakin in episode 3.
No,
and so that's where Anakin, they're sitting at the opera, and Anakin starts going, "Is this something that's taught?" And he's like, "Not by a Jedi."
Is it possible to learn this power? Not from a Jedi.
He alludes to the fact that, he's the one that killed Darth Plagueis, and so he is the Sith. So the fact that she has his blood alludes to the fact that she could be the most powerful Jedi that we've ever seen.
Exactly.
Does that get explored more in the universe? I hope so. I think that they started her character off really strong, and I do think that the second movie, which was episode 8, was weak. I think that they finished well. They wrapped up a lot in the last movie. They put a lot in it in a very short period, I think. But I like the movies. I like all the movies. I like the prequels now. I watched the animated series, and it made me appreciate the prequel movies so much more now.
So you actually like Kylo Ren and what happened with him? I thought he was mad and whiny.
So, like, he is, but so was Anakin. So it kind of, like, makes sense, because Anakin, like, was also, like, the whiny crybaby. I'm gonna do what I want.
Kids.
Yes, he did kill the young lady.
He was about that life.
But at some point, I felt like Kylo should have crossed over and made that decision just the same way Anakin did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only place where Anakin stopped is with his son. If it wasn't for Luke, Darth Vader would just be Darth Vader. But Luke came along. You kill your father. I feel like that should be a point in the series where you've crossed over and you go full Darth Vader mode as Kylo Ren.
But that's what Kylo did. I mean, he killed Han, and he that was him proving himself. Which, I mean, you got to remember, in order to gain Snoke's complete trust so that he could kill Snoke, he had to kill Han Solo. So it was a test, and I think that, Han understood that, and that's why he was like, it's okay, you gotta do what you gotta do, and understood that it was his time. I thought they were going to go in a different direction. I thought they were going to be like, he's a secret, rebellion member, and he's just doing this so that he can kill everybody, and it'll be, great, happy place. I didn't think it was because he wanted power for himself at first, but yeah, I love Adam Driver. I think that he's great.
Of course.
No, we said we love him as an actor. Yeah, like, no question.
No, he's great.
I just thought, like, you killed your dad to basically be a good guy. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Didn't make any sense.
He gave up his life force to Rey at the end. I'm like, and series like this, stuff like this, bad guys sell these stuff. Bad guys sell these series, and the way I wanted it to go, I didn't like episode 7, 8, or 9. Mm-hmm. Because I'm such a Star Wars fan, I feel like if you're too crazy about Star Wars, you won't like 7, because 7 reminds you too much of the original one. I was calling out stuff as it was happening while I'm in the theater, and my friends were like, "You saw this already?" And I was like, "No, we're just debuting this tonight." But clearly, they didn't, have a mind of their own as they wrote this script for 7, 8, 9. They just rerouted everything again. Instead of the Death Star, you have the Death Planet, And I was like, yeah, see, this is a problematic thing. But then I started to fall in love with episode 9 because of Rey's, relationship to Palpatine. I was like, I would love if they do what they do in the trailer, where she sees their dark self and her
Yeah.
dark self wins, and then you can
Mhm.
take this wherever you want to in the next generations of the films because you have a
Right.
super cool bad guy.
See,
Well,
that's what was disappointed.
you have one of the few Jedis that have been introduced as a gray Jedi with Rey. Very, very few times have they shown a Jedi that can balance light and dark side of the Force. And they've shown that Rey can. So her potential is huge. I mean, Ahsoka is a gray Jedi at this point in the timeline with Mandalorian.
Oh, I love her.
And then there was, if you watch the animated Clone Wars series, there was a Jedi in the library that Ahsoka did like a mission with. That was like this old dude that was like decrepit and super slow, and he was a gray Jedi. So they've shown them very, very few times, but they can balance, both light and dark. So she has huge potential, for sure. What they do with her character, I don't know. I think it's kind of the fun part, speculating and talking about it, like where it goes from here.
Allow the writers to get along. If the writers are getting really creative, then let them be just that. That's probably where they messed up a lot. Is writers are getting really creative and they scaled a lot of things back. They wanted the last episode to be a little longer. That might have helped out too. But yeah, it has a lot of potential. I'm still excited about certain things. There's rumors of the sequel trilogy and Luke getting like a fitting end and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I'm for it.
Yeah.
I'm for it if it's in the direction that I think it's going into. And Mando really helped out a lot.
Mando,
No,
it's
Mandalorian's great.
got to be written by Buddy for me to jump on the next trilogy. Because one, like I said, I'm not happy with Kylo. When I first saw the saber and I saw it was
The first movie, he was fucking badass. Where he goes, I mean, every time I watch the scene, I get chills. Where he's there and Finn's watching him, and what's his face shoots the blaster, and he stops it midway and holds the blast for like ever.
That's what I thought. I was like, yo,
You've never seen that before.
No, I was like, I thought he's gonna make us forget about Darth Vader. I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be amazing. And then he turned into the whiny dude, and I just wasn't with it. And the same thing with
yeah.
same thing with Rey. Like, I appreciate who she is, but let's go full blast then. If she is part of that world, then let her be a super dark badass, and just let me see her kill people. Like, just go crazy. And then they were both soft. They end up loving each other, which I didn't get. Like, it was Disney-ish.
We will always need a villain. Nothing's going to sell anything like a villain. We're always going to need a villain. I felt like they ended it without that, but the
villain was enough a part of it, because you had Palpatine, but you had Palpatine very, very briefly.
Yeah.
So
if
I get that.
Expand on the other characters, I felt like every other character in the last 3 movies could have been expanded on more, especially with the ability to go longer with screen time. Expand on them more, because clearly, like you said, now they're going to do more with Finn. They didn't have to do a lot with Finn. They just had to tease the people, because that's the era that we're in now. You can tease people and give them stuff later and gradually and periodically and say, hey, wait for the spin-off. But they didn't tease, and they made it seem as if like a lot of stuff was done, and whatever you see is written in stone.
They need to do.
I was a huge Rey fan because I felt like he had some darkness to her.
They need to do the spin-offs and what, like you're saying, the teasers, is let my man John do the whole new shit, because he did the Mandalorian. Shit is crazy. I don't know who. I mean, I know obviously who. I always pronounce it wrong. Boba Fett. What is it? Boba Fett. I know who he is, obviously, but I'm very intrigued now seeing the spinoff because of the Mandalorian. I want to see what they do with spoiler. I want to see what they do with Luke. Are we getting like a spinoff to that, like his younger days? I want to see what's going on with Obi-Wan in that series. Like, they got so much shit popping, and it's because of John. So
Yeah.
if John can take helm of half the shit they doing, or maybe Patty Jenkins and shit like that, yo, I'm down
Yeah,
for it.
Favreau is a genius. I mean, John Favreau he is behind a lot of MCU. He's done a lot of movies. I mean, John Favreau is the one who did Elf, which is my favorite Christmas movie. People don't realize this. He produced Elf. He has produced and directed and written a lot of stuff that is great. And he is very, very good at picking the right people to work with. And him grabbing Dave Filoni, who was the creator, writer, something of the Clone Wars series and the Rebels series to work on with Mandalorian to be the super uber nerd to go, no, that's not right, and I'll show you why, and here's the lore and everything else. I mean, that was the best move that he could have done. And then bringing in all these different directors to direct, each episode and do different episodes. I mean, he had Robert Rodriguez direct the episode where Boba Fett came in and did the whole fight with all of them where Grogu gets taken.
That takes a great amount of intelligence to do that.
I mean, he has worked with, Bryce Dallas Howard. The one guy, you guys said his name is so weird, but he's an amazing director. And actor, because he acts and stuff as well. He does voice acting and he does acting. He's directed multiple episodes. He's amazing. He just has wonderful, amazing, talented people around him that he brings in. So basically everything he touches turns to gold.
Yeah, I said it on our story. So like it's true to John being amazing because I'm not even a diehard Star Wars fan. Like I'm not into it like that. But ever since I've been watching The Mandalorian, like now I've gotten into like, oh shit. So I asked Rook, I was like, yo, I texted him, I was like, send me all the movies I should rewatch and I should watch in order for the ones that I can catch up. Now I got all my Funko Pops. I got Luke over now with Yoda. I got the Mandalorian with Guru. What is it? Guru?
Grogu.
Guru. I got Vader over there. I got Kylo. I got Rey. Like a minute now, I saw because of John, and I wasn't even a fan like that.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Carl Weathers too. He wrote a few episodes for Mandalorian.
Yes.
Which I think was a bounce back to me because I was wondering what Carl was up to and why he wasn't in the Expendables. But all right, Carl, I'm okay. Yes.
I mean, how long was that gif of him and Arnold hitting hands together with the biceps like going around on the internet? Like how many years was that going on for? But that was like
ever, and you expected him to be in one of those movies.
Well, he tried to come back. He tried to come back on Chicago Law or some shit like that to spin off to one of the Chicago PD shows. I think Chicago Justice, but they canned that. But he tried to come back.
No, I'm not talking about that. Just as far as he had an opportunity to join the old school action guys for one last hurrah, and he wasn't there, and it felt weird because he worked with most of those guys in that era. And I wasn't even born yet, but I grew up watching them, and I grew up watching Billy Blanks and all those dudes. So I was like, Expendables, Sly Has a Plan. I expect to see all those names and all those people show up.
Yeah.
But it was still nice to see them. Chuck, kiss my ass for having it PG-13 because you're in it. It's an action flick. It's the last one you're probably ever going to do. You're going to go back to doing Bowflex commercials. Bro, just let it be rated R. That was not cool, but
the Expendables was a good thing, but we're not going to go there. But Expendables was a good little thing they had going on there. That was dope.
Are you a Rogue One fan?
Rogue One's great.
Thank you. I had this argument all the time.
Rogue
One's amazing.
I watched it.
And a lot of people say that I love it so much because of how it ends, which is true. I do love that, balls out ending. But Darth Vader in Rogue One 2, aside from the other ending, is incredible.
So, I mean, Rogue One, because I saw that before I watched, Rebels and Clone Wars, because obviously Disney Plus wasn't around then, so having that easy access to those shows wasn't there. Rogue One filled a gap in a timeline that I think we needed, and that connected a lot of dots and filled in, and it's just great. And I mean, I love the movie. I think it's super well done, super well acted. I like that they picked, for the most part, not as well known actors for it, so that you weren't distracted by the name or the talent. It was just, you just appreciate the movie for what it is. And I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a great collective of actors for that
Yeah.
movie. You're right. We weren't distracted, but at the same time, we got to see that they did great work on screen with the roles that they had.
All right, so I'm asking you two last questions about Star Wars, and then we're definitely going to come back to a part two of this. So first question is, me and Rook talked about in one of the Star Wars episodes. Do you think they should focus like they've been focusing on having one badass Jedi, one badass Sith Lord, or you think they should, when they expand, if they do, they should have like numerous people that are like badass?
Well, I mean, so the Jedis were always numerous. I mean, I don't know if you've watched Clone Wars, but you have all the Jedis, and it goes really, in the series, I'm sorry, the animated series, not the Clone Wars movie. You get a lot more backstory on the different Jedis. You go on, each episode is like a different mission with a different Jedi, and you get to see a little bit more of their character and their abilities and stuff like that. So I don't know how they can do that because of the Inquisitors, because Anakin, Darth Vader, when he took power, what is it, Order 66, they killed everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So the only Jedis that remained were very few. I mean, Ahsoka went into hiding because she quit anyway. I mean, they cast her out and they invited her back, and she was like, "Nah, fuck y'all. You didn't believe me. I'm not coming back to this." So you have those people, and then you have I am really, really super excited, and I hope that they bring back Ezra, because they kind of leave it open-ended at the end of Rebels of where's Ezra? Does he come back? Is he still alive? I thought that Ezra was going to show up and get Grogu. I didn't think it was going to be Luke. Cool. There's also heard that Mace Windu is the one who saved Grogu from the Jedi Temple, and that Mace Windu didn't die, because we don't actually see him die.
No, we don't.
So there's a lot of talk that, Mace is going to come back, and that Samuel L. Jackson is going to, come back in that role, which would be awesome.
They keep teasing it.
They did not explore his character enough in the movies, in my opinion. This animated series also kind of made me love Jar Jar, and a lot of people talk about how Jar Jar was like a secret Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Yeah, they think that he was like low-key Sith, and he just played it off like he was a big dum-dum, but he was actually like a Sith.
Wow, he's playing Boo Boo the Fool the whole time?
Right. Because if you watch it, he's always like, oh, what? But everything goes his way, and his, big, stupid fumbles, it always ends up working out for him. That would be kind of funny, but I mean, it'd be great to have, this whole Jedi thing, but we already know the storyline, because you gotta understand, Mandalorian is in between,
it's right after the Empire falls, and
right,
before the new Empire.
But before it's them, the new order coming up, them trying to get it back together. So you already know, because we've seen 7, 8, 9, that there's no Jedis left. They're a myth. So I don't know. You've already put that in place. So I don't know how many more Jedis you can introduce into the universe, knowing that the outcome is that they're all dead.
I can't say that I've read all the comics, because I have not. I got put onto them. Someone at work is a big fan and found a comic strip that they show on YouTube, and they read it out, which is cool. But Jedis and the Force energy never goes away. So they tease us in the movies. Even I think it's episode 8. There's a movie, and I think in Han Solo's movie they tease too. Which one is the one where they have the kids at the end, and he grabs the broom? He grabs the broom with using force energy, and he grabs the broom. Is these 3 orphan boys, and force energy. That's why they always have, you know, room for new Jedi's. But you can't make new Jedi's if you don't have a leader and a temple or
Trainers.
someone who's ready to lead everybody. So he's gonna have random force energy out there, and people who don't know how to harness it and use it properly. But
Yeah.
there's plenty of room to have
Yeah.
dark Jedi, or dark side, and maybe 5 really good villains on that side, and some Jedi's, and have to combat that, because in today's century, we've seen a lot of movies now where you have multiple villains. You have multiple powerful villains.
Mhm.
All right. Disney using the MCU or piggybacking what they've had with that. You've had multiple powerful villains, and that seems to work. Singling out one person nowadays is just not enough anymore. No, you got to keep people interested. I think that's a great idea to later on just team up, and it's dark side, light side, and those in between who might end up picking a side and shifting the tides of the war, and let the dark side win a few times, because then it's not so predictable. And then now the next story is the comeback. You know, the how they piece it together and fight back. But I share your excitement and enthusiasm. There's so many ways that they can go with this,
Yeah.
and a lot of people can feel better about it.
The Mandalorian series is definitely they're gonna bring Bo-Katan. I think he's gonna learn his heritage. Um,
As he
you know,
should.
Din Djarin doesn't understand what Mandalore is, doesn't understand the creed that he represents, because he's not from that planet. So, he's talking to Bo-Katan, and he doesn't know who she is. She doesn't realize that she's royalty, as far as Mandalore goes. And he doesn't know any of it because he's a foundling, and he was part of like a sect that was, they were like zealots, basically.
Yeah, they're a radical order.
Yeah, they were radicals. So they're looking at him like, dude, you're the freak, not us. And so that'll be cool, to get more into that storyline. But again, like what you're saying is why I love the Clone Wars series so much, because it's, you have, the Sith Lord, and then you have his apprentice, and then he has his apprentice, and then they have his apprentice, and then you have, in Rebels, you have all the Inquisitors, which are super badass, and their little lightsaber spinny ring things that then, they're so cool. And I do enjoy having, like you said, the multiple villains, and I hope that the movies take more after the series, because they are amazing.
Yeah, Clone Wars saved Star Wars for me, and especially because one of my favorite characters of all time is Darth Maul. I thought he was super cool,
and I can't wait till they bring him. He's supposed to get either a spinoff or be part of Obi-Wan's series a lot more, so that'll be great to see.
I definitely got to watch Clone Wars for the next part 2 of this conversation. I'm gonna ask Rook, because I was gonna ask you definitely. Rook, I asked you first. Would you be a Jedi, or would you be on the dark side?
I'd be dark side, but I wouldn't be bound to anyone. I have a problem with how Jedi run things. At the end of the day, I feel like they could have did a lot more with what they had, and they feel like they're powerful people that don't do very much.
Okay. What about you, Kel? Would you be dark side, or would you be Jedi?
I always say I would balance both, so I would be the gray for me.
Rook, I think you already know what I would be.
He's definitely dark side. You might find me in the gray or on the dark side, but he's definitely dark side. I just know that Palpatine wouldn't be able to call me and be like, "Hey, show up, we need you." And I'm like, "I don't answer to you, but you're dark. I don't answer to you. All right, I don't care about your cause. All right, I'd be one of those Jedi's. I'd probably be hanging out with Ahsoka a lot. I don't care about your causes, because they show a lot too. Both sides. At the end of the day, they don't do much for the galaxy. So I like that they talk about that in the Mandalorian too, right? Mm-hmm. What has the New Order done for us? What is the dark side? What has the Empire done for us?
Right, they're self-serving to an extent.
All right, look. So we had about 1 hour and 5. We're definitely gonna have to cut this for part 2, because it's going too smooth. But we're gonna give you the 4 questions like we do for every parting guest. So whatever comes to your mind, just shoot it out. So the first question is, if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing?
Um, I mean, honestly, I really enjoy what I do. It has been, it's therapeutic for me for multiple reasons. I think that the movement that we're going towards, where whether it's women empowerment or not, or just us being comfortable in our own sexuality, and men or society being more accepting to that, I think that that's a great thing, and hopefully everyone can get on board. Obviously they're not currently, um, but I think we're heading in a good direction of respect and boundaries, and you know those sort of things. But I mean, like I said, I just want to work for myself. I would love to be, at the end of the day, like a personal shopper, or that person that finds like that thing that someone's looking for. Interior design, I love fashion, I love all those things, I love makeup. I mean, combining those things together would be my happy place for sure.
Okay. Personally, who influences you?
So the designer that I'm wearing, who I am obsessed with and have been for many, many years, her name is Micheline Pitt. She is an incredibly beautiful, incredibly talented artist, costume designer, clothing designer, handbag designer, everything. She hand draws most of her designs out, and then gets them printed on the fabric, and then makes her clothing out of them. But she's also a survivor of many, many years of abuse, and has used her platform and her voice to come forward and, you know, give strength to other, victims, other survivors of what she's been through, and also gives back to that community as well. So she's huge for me, and I had the opportunity to meet her, and she's just an absolute sweetheart. She remembers, her customers, her fans, very, very specifically, and I just think she's great, and yeah.
Nice. Definitely applause. Third, what's your favorite curse word?
Fuck, for sure.
All right.
Watch the history of curse words on Netflix. I've been 3 episodes in.
Nicholas Cage.
Oh, my husband started watching that, and I'm just like, does Nick Cage have nothing else to do? That this is what he's doing now?
Look, I love him, but he does every job.
Like, you can say no, dude. Like, you can say no. And then I don't understand where the hair came from. Are those plugs? Is this a wig? I thought that, like, the hair wasn't there anymore.
Can't they implant those now?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
They can, yeah. Yeah. But it's, yeah. I watched a little bit, but yeah, Nick Cage throws me off for sure.
I didn't want to because I know not to watch everything he does, but check it out. Lastly, if you had any kind of superpower, what would it be?
Oh gosh. I really like, I would say Wanda, Scarlet Witch, the telekinesis, those kind of powers. I mean, she is more powerful than even she realizes, and she's one of the most powerful, and technically she's a mutant, that we've ever seen in the Marvel universe. Definitely on her level would be where I'd want to be.
All right, so check.
Are you 4 episodes in?
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Are you 4 episodes in?
Yeah. No, I'm caught up on WandaVision.
Don't get no spoilers. I've seen it.
No spoilers. Don't worry. I told him to watch episode 4.
Right.
Get to watch it.
For the people that haven't watched it, don't get no spoilers. But check this out. If you want Taylor to come back, because obviously she knows all her shit. Then y'all have to make sure y'all like this video, comment on the video, get the subs up so we can see, okay, cool, you guys want her back. Because he looks like she has a lot more to talk about. I didn't know she needed this whole Wanda shit, but we got to bring her back for this.
What, and subscribe to her channel, because look, I do want her to come back. All right. She's
I'm not
creative.
even on YouTube. I can't even keep up with the platforms I am on, let alone add some more to it. But
All right, well, subscribe to her OnlyFans then, okay? Because like I said, she's got a lot to her, and I would like for her to join us when we really geek out. Because it's good to have that platform where we do that.
I'm a big car person too. Cars, bourbon, pool. There's a lot of
Hold up. Foreign imports or muscle?
Ford, Mustang, muscle all day.
Muscle beats import every time. All right, just like Dwight told Paul Walker. Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's imports that I love that I would love to own. I mean, I love a GTR. I love an NSX. I love an R8. But I mean, I mean, my day job is selling car parts. So, and I have a Ford. I have 2 Fords. So I grew up in it. I love it. So yeah, that's where I'm at on it. But I love everything. I just appreciate. I think some people get really caught up on like, oh well, I look at that's crap, and I love anyone who's passionate and puts their heart into something. So regardless of like what you drive or what you own, like if you put your heart and your passion into your build, like I can respect that.
So. We got to get her back. All right, viewers, we got to get her back.
I know Rook is about to go off about the cars now. Rook, give us a parting shot. Give us a parting shot, and then I'll wrap it up.
My parting shot has to be about female empowerment today because, thank you, Kayla, and thanks to my sister. I was wearing her gear earlier. Both of my sisters, very powerful, influential women in my life. I grew up pretty much surrounded by lionesses, so that's how our pride was led. My mom, Chance knows, that's how we met. I'm a huge porn fan, and I see nowadays that there's a lot less shaming going on, but shaming still happens for exposure and stuff and nudity. And I feel like a lot of these people watch this content and still shame people.
Absolutely.
You guys need to stop. You are a terrible contradiction. That doesn't even make sense. You're entertained and at the same time you want to talk shit. Go somewhere. So to all the women out there, men out there too, don't be ashamed of your sexuality and about who you are and expressing yourselves in certain ways. This is a great time for us to be open and really come into our own as human beings.
Definitely. Kayla, parting shots.
I would say, elaborating on that, I mean, accept yourself. I think that everyone, we have, I think the biggest thing that I've said, obviously we've gone through so much turmoil and emotion and up and downs in the past year. But I think a lot of that stems from just being non-accepting of other people, regardless of skin color, beliefs, even a differencing of opinion now. You don't agree with someone and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to unfriend you, or you should die because you don't agree with me because you support this thing that I don't agree with. Acceptance is huge in any form. And then also just believing in yourself and realizing your own self-worth and, pushing forward, work as hard as you can. And at anything, at whatever it is that you're passionate about, anything that makes you happy, you're the only person that can control that, and just keep, plugging through and pushing through till you get that.
All right. Me, as usual, Rook. Couldn't do it without you. That's why we're here. Kayla, I appreciate you being on because I'm pretty sure you get a lot of offers to do things. So we appreciate you being on. I'm pretty sure you guys thought we were going to get super raunchy with this, but that's not what it's for. It's for real conversation. So I can definitely piggyback off what you guys said. I was raised by women. I'm raising women, and their mom is a super boss. So I'm definitely for women empowerment because obviously I'm a dad's girl, so this is where we're at. But you know, said two things that I think is important. One is invest in yourself. Like that's a must. No matter what business you're doing or trying to do, you have to invest yourself. Like a lot of people are asking for the hookup or what could you do for me or do this for me and I'll just sit back and watch. You need to invest in yourself. If you don't invest in yourself, no one's going to take you serious. Point blank. The second thing that I've said, she said, is promotion. You can't have a business. You can't have all the equipment that you need and think without promotion that you're going to get to where you need to be. It's not going to happen. You got to promote, 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 promote. You're the business. You're the brand. You got to put yourself out there, period. And people will give you slack because, oh, you don't do a 9 to 5. Bro, being independent is, what is it? 12 a.m. to back to 12 a.m. thing. Like, it isn't a 9 to 5. It's a 24-hour thing.
Yeah.
It's just jam-packed. So, we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you put comments. Because if you want to see her back, I know you do. You got to do it. If I only see one comment or one like, we ain't bringing it back. It's your fault. It's your fault. So, you want to see her? Bring it back. You know what I mean? As always,
And chances are always working.
be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. It ain't hard to say. Give somebody a compliment. So, love. Hit the music.
Through the money, designer the drip. Don't got a cap, I'm as real as it get. Bet on myself.